Joining us now, world traveler Curtis Ellis. He goes all over the world to bring you the facts back and little antidotes. Curtis Ellis, Senior Policy Advisor with America First Policies, also Chairman Emeritus. I don't even know what that word means, but I like saying it. Chairman, I have no idea what it means. Chairman Emeritus of the American Jobs Alliance, of which I am the executive director of. But I found out that I can't fire the chairman emeritus, but he can fire me. So now I decided I hate the title. And he's joining us now. Curtis Ellis. Curtis, I've been on vacation for a week. I haven't talked to you. How you doing?
Yeah, I missed you, man. You've been missed. I missed you. Your audience missed you even more. They were calling me. They said, let me get hold of that Emeritus guy and find out what happened to John Fredericks. We need him.
Oh, the Emeritus guy. So, Curtis, I know you've been traveling all over the world.
Guy. I told him to take a vacation.
I know. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you for giving me the week off. Thank you. I appreciate it. Curtis Ellis gave me the week off. Thank you. Curtis, but I know that you're always working, but I talked to you the other day, and I always forget to ask this. I wanted to ask at the top of the show before I run out of time. You were traveling a couple months ago around the Middle East and through India. And I remember we were talking on the phone, and you gave me some real interesting tidbits about traveling through India. I just was wondering off the top of your head if you could share some of that with our audience.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's, in the headlines today is this business in Sri Lanka, and I suppose that's a way to talk about it. It reminded me of, look, India is it's a fascinating place. It has every kind of faith and religion there. It's like a living encyclopedia, and everybody gets along. They pretty much get along, which is, we think of that as America, diversity is our strength. Well, we're not the only place. India, the world's largest democracy, and you have Christians and Hindus and Muslims and Buddhists and Jain and sects you never heard of, and they all get along in the world's largest democracy. I spent some time in Mumbai, the city formerly known as Bombay, and this was the British capital, not official capital, but the commercial capital of India. The British erected the gate to India when Queen Victoria came to visit. It's this beautiful archway. Looks like the Arc de Triomphe right on the Arabian Sea there, and next to it is the Taj Hotel, the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, which was built by an Indian because the wealthy Indians were not allowed to go into the British hotel. So he decided, well, I'm going to build my own. And this is now the most famous hotel in India, where George Harrison was taught to play sitar by Ravi Shankar back in the 60s, and everybody has stayed there, from Cary Grant to the Beatles, and on and on today, Mick Jagger and everybody else. This is where they stay, and it's an incredible hotel. And when you go to India or an island India, and I recommend anybody who does, you have to have an organizer and a guide. You can't. It's just there's so many people, and it's such chaos on the street. You see people walking monkeys next to people driving Mercedes, and I'm not exaggerating. And the cars go in every direction. You need an organizer there, and Cox and Kings provides very good organizers. They were the people who, in fact, brought Mahatma Gandhi over to London back in the day.
Really?
So they have a long history in India. Yeah, it's amazing. And they handle your visas, too, because you have to have a visa to go to India. We had a great guide. He took us down to the docks, and this is where it gets really, I found it fascinating what he was telling us. I got a history lesson, and it relates to America. So, and it relates to what we're going through right now. He took us down to a place called the Sassoon Docks. And the Sassoon Docks is now a fishing. It's all of the fishermen and all the fish that come in to Mumbai come through these docks. But it started out as the center of the cotton trade. And the cotton was always grown in India, but it really took off during the American Civil War.
Right.
Because the British used to buy their cotton from the South, from the southern states. But during the Civil War, they shifted and started buying it from India
because
instead.
of the blockade.
Yeah. Exactly, because of the blockade, and they didn't want to get into another war with the northern states.
Right.
So they developed the cotton trade in India, and what they did is they destroyed India's own textile industry under the banner of free trade. The Indians used to be world leaders in cotton and textiles and spinning and making cloth, and the British literally broke the thumbs of the people who spun cotton and spun fiber, so that the weavers in India, so that they couldn't pass on their skill because they wanted to monopolize the textile trade in India. And our national anthem. This is our guide that we got through Cox and Kings. He told us all of these stories, and all roads lead to India in the stories he was telling us. Mm-hmm. So we have the American Civil War related to the British and to India and the cotton, but our national anthem has a link to India as well. The HMS Minden was built in Bombay. And this is the ship that was firing on Fort McHenry in the War of 1812. Mm-hmm. And the rockets it fired, the rockets' red glare, the rockets it fired were British rockets, obviously, and the Brits acquired them in southern India. It's a technology that was French technology that was used in southern India. And the British acquired it when they threw the French out of southern India and took over that part. So you have so much of what is American is linked to, in this fellow's telling, is linked to India. And the whole free trade story and this business about technology and the rocket's red glare, I just found it fascinating. And it's really an interesting place. We had lunch that day at someone's home. This family, the Buri, and they're a sect of the Shia Muslims known as the Buri. Right. And they were famous traders from Yemen, and absolutely delightful people. And it's really, really inspiring to see everybody getting along. Now, of course, they have their problems, as we saw this week. There's problems all over the world, but you don't want to mistake a few malcontents for the state of the world.
I know, right?
Most people get along. They really do, and they really do in India. It's
thank you for sharing that.
Traveling.
Thank you for sharing that. I love to get stories that tie in with history and travel, and Curtis and I know we spent a lot of time on it, but I really enjoyed it, and then thank you. And that was you're right. The whole European continent that was dependent on cotton from the southern states had to shift to find an alternative when number one, the South couldn't get the cotton delivered in enough volume through the blockade, and then secondly, the Confederate States of America and Jeff Davis made the decision to hoard the cotton until they could get a deal from either France or Britain for recognition, which they thought would lead to their opportunity to get an armistice. And neither country did that, so the cotton just piled up, and they couldn't sell it. They couldn't do anything with it. So that was part of it. So they had to turn to India, among other things. I'm going to go to a quick word from our sponsors. Curtis, when I get back, I want your take on the Mueller report and where the Democrats go from here. I'll be right back.